Political identities have become stronger than religious ones, stronger even than racial. 94% of adults are now cool with interracial marriage. It's inter-party marriage. That's a deal breaker for a majority of Republicans and Democrats who don't want their kids marrying someone who belongs to the other. America's national leprechaun, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Bill Maher just went directly after Marjorie Taylor Greene on live television, and it was absolutely ruthless. He focused on Marjorie Taylor Greene and delivered one of the harshest public takedowns of her political career. But before we continue, if you enjoy quick commentary videos with detailed breakdowns, take just 2 seconds to subscribe to the channel. Now let's jump back into the story. In a single moment, Maher gives her a nickname so tiny, so absurd, and so memorable that the internet picked it up almost instantly. He compares her to a small fantasy creature straight out of cartoons and cereal commercials. That's more than a joke, it's a permanent label. And once a nickname like that sticks to a politician, it rarely disappears. But look at what he's really doing beneath the humor. He's using her as evidence that political identity has become stronger than race or religion in America. Most Americans don't care if their children marry someone from a different background, but marrying someone from the opposite political party is a completely different story. He's not simply making fun of her. He's pointing to a larger problem and presenting her as one of the people making it worse. And here's why that opening landed so effectively. This is a sitting member of Congress whose career thrives on division, and a comedian reduced her public image to a cartoon character in a matter of seconds. The nickname was only the opening shot. The real criticism was still coming because his next point connected her favorite political idea to one of the most violent conflicts in modern history.
She didn't invent our country's polarization any more than she could spell it, but she's playing with the kind of fire that made Northern Ireland a living hell for so long when she says, "We need a national divorce. We need to separate by red states and blue states. We're done." And then she threw Biden's things out on the lawn and said, "I'll be at my mother's."
Then Maher turned his attention to her famous national divorce proposal, the idea she has promoted repeatedly over the years. He tells the audience that what she casually posts online resembles the same type of thinking that helped create long-lasting political disasters elsewhere. Then, just when the audience starts absorbing the seriousness of it, he shifts back to comedy and transforms her entire proposal into a sketch about a messy breakup, packing belongings, arguing over property, and moving back in with family. He turns her political vision into a neighborhood dispute between two angry households. Think about that for a second. Critics say it's only comedy and nobody should take a comedian seriously on issues like this. Really. Because experts have been making similar warnings for years. Political analysts have repeatedly argued that her so-called peaceful separation would never remain peaceful. Even a Republican governor from her own party publicly criticized that type of rhetoric. And the Supreme Court settled over a century ago that such a proposal has no legal foundation. So when Maher laughs at the idea, he isn't attacking from below.
But a full third of likely voters agree with her and approve of a national divorce. With Texas the most enthusiastic, 66% of all voters there are ready to split, including 59% of Democrats. But just voicing this idea is dangerous because it reinforces the belief that you can't even talk to those people. You just have to somehow nullify their very existence by creating a country only of your type of people. It's always such a tempting thought, isn't it? If we could just keep the out.
And that's the moment that should make everyone stop and think. He brings up polling numbers. A large percentage of voters privately support the idea. In Texas, nearly 2/3 in some surveys. Even among Democrats, significant numbers have shown frustration with national unity. That's the disturbing reality hidden beneath the joke. Maher isn't simply mocking one politician. He's exposing how this divisive idea has quietly spread into homes across the country. Then he delivers the line neither side likes hearing. The second you seriously consider this idea, you've already given up on the country itself. You've decided your fellow Americans are no longer fellow citizens. They become obstacles instead. Let that really sink in. He's challenging the entire mindset behind her political brand. The belief that people who disagree with you no longer deserve to share the same nation. Critics say Maher is exaggerating. Yet the same congresswoman has suggested that Americans relocating from blue states to red states should lose voting rights for 5 years. Yes, 5 years. That's not a separation. That's not even normal politics. That's a control-focused idea disguised as something reasonable. Maher recognized it immediately, but he wasn't finished because his next argument was about to reveal how fragile the unity within her
Unity
own
inside her
actually
own
is.
movement really is.
This would be such a great place. But where do you draw the line as to how much someone can disagree with you before they're an asshole too? Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert seemed pretty joined at for a while. They both loved and but they reportedly had a bathroom fight in January, of course, over a guy, Kevin McCarthy.
Maher then brings her closest political ally into the conversation and tears down both arguments in less than half a minute. He portrays them as political partners who share the same culture war priorities, the same ideological battles, and the same public image. Let me explain what just happened. He's looking at two of the most visible supporters of the national divorce movement and saying, these two struggled to stay united themselves, and we're supposed to trust them with redesigning the country. Critics call it a cheap joke, but there's a deeper truth hiding inside it. The people constantly talking about unity within their movement often can't maintain unity among themselves. Then Maher pushed even further because his next joke became the sharpest one of the entire
Marjorie,
segment.
does this mean that Lauren doesn't get to live with you now in the new free republic of Jesus-sippy?
And here comes the joke that transformed her entire vision into satire. He creates a fictional country with a ridiculous made-up name that sounds like something invented by a child and asks a very simple question. If your entire plan depends on removing everyone who disagrees with you, what happens when your own allies start disagreeing over smaller issues? Does your closest political friend get removed too? Think about that for a moment. This is where Maher's approach becomes so effective. He's not debating the policy directly. He's simply following the idea to its natural conclusion and showing how absurd it becomes once you picture it in reality. Because here's the truth many supporters refuse to acknowledge. Every movement built around removing the wrong people follows the same path. First, the opposition gets removed. Then members of your own side start getting removed for not being loyal enough. Eventually, you end up standing alone wondering where everyone went. Critics say Maher is only chasing laughs. Maybe. But history shows that many extreme movements began with the same basic argument: we just need to get rid of those people. And Maher still had one final point ready, the one aimed directly at her home state.
And what about your own state of Georgia, which has a Republican governor and 2 Democratic senators? What are you going to do with the 2.5 million Georgia residents who voted for the Democrats? Put them on a plane to Martha's Vineyard? What about the 43% of Republicans who are for gay marriage? Does that make them rhinos, Republican in name only? And do rhinos get to live with you in Dan? Or do they all have to deport to Oklahoma?
That may have been the finishing blow. He presents the simplest and most powerful fact possible. Her own state of Georgia has a Republican governor and 2 Democratic senators. Millions of people there vote Democratic. So what's the solution? Move them somewhere else. Think about that for a moment. In barely a minute, he dismantled her entire proposal using examples from her own state. You cannot separate red America from blue America when both exist in the same neighborhoods, communities, and families. America is mixed, Georgia is mixed, Texas is mixed, California is mixed. There is no clear dividing line, and the second you try creating one, you realize you'd be removing many of your own supporters as well. Critics say Maher simply found a lucky closing argument. Not at all. He carefully dismantled her entire political message using nothing more than voting data and basic facts, packaged inside a comedy routine seen by millions. That's not luck. That's a methodical takedown built step by step. Maher walked in with a complete strategy, and he delivered every part of it in front of a national audience. The nickname that reduced her image to a cartoon. The history lesson connecting her proposal to real-world conflicts. The polling numbers that revealed how widespread the idea has become. The friendship joke that exposed the myth of total unity. The fake country punchline that made the proposal look childish, and the Georgia example that completely dismantled the argument. 6 points, 6 direct hits, and the politician whose entire image is built around never backing down, the loudest voice in the room, the person who rarely apologizes for anything, wasn't even present to respond. Because there really wasn't much of a response available. You can't escape a roast when every joke is built around facts people can verify. Maher didn't win by being cruel. He won with something she has always struggled against, people laughing at an idea after thinking it through. So now I want to hear from you. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene the most mocked politician in America today? Did Bill Maher effectively destroy the national divorce argument on live television? And how exactly do you divide a country when people already share the same homes, towns, and families? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this breakdown and subscribe for more videos.